Okay, welcome back. I'm here with another bare knuckle fight picks breakdown, and today we're gonna go through BKFC 89 Palm Desert from the free fights all the way to the Herring versus Larrimore. We've got a former world champion boxer in the main event. We've got a late change at the top of the card. We've got a co-main event where Cody Vidal might be one of the most dangerous underdogs on the card. We've got heavyweight chaos. We've got pressure fighters, and we've got low info free fights. And we've got a few matchups where one bad entry can end the whole night. So going from the bottom to the top for each fight, I'm going to give you the pick, why I liked it, the danger spot, and the official prediction. So let's get into it here. We've got first fight of the night. We got Ricardo Talavera Jr. versus Victor Flor. I'm going to go with Victor Flor here, but this is one of those picks where I'm keeping cautious. I think Flor has the most dangerous early fight weapons, but Talavera might be the steadier guy in this if this fight gets extended. Talavera's public info is limited. Topology does not give us much in terms of height, reach, or a full record. He has already gone rounds in bare knuckle. He went all 3 rounds with Dominic Shepard and lost by split decision. And I'm watching that fight back, and it looked competitive enough that I'm not treating him like some guy walking in cold. He has been in the mess already. The breaks, the warnings, the weird rhythm, the full 3 rounds. That matters. But Victor Flor is the guy I worry about more. In the first few exchanges against Ernesto Suarez, Flor actually looked like he had some success early. He was landing hooks. He was coming forward. And for a moment, you could see the danger. But then the problem showed up. He got a little too confident, pressing forward. Suarez started catching him on the entries. Flor got dropped and got cut badly, and the fight was stopped in round 1. So with Flor, the question is control. Can he keep that aggression sharp? Can he land without getting reckless? Or does he rush in, get timed, and let Talavera drag this into a longer, uglier fight? If Flor lands early, this could get ugly fast. He is the more dangerous guy in the first exchanges, but if Talavera survives the first wave, settles in, and makes Flor work, then I start to worry about Flor's discipline. Because Talavera's already showed he can go rounds. Flor has to show he can stay composed when the first explosion does not end the fight. So I'm going to go with Victor Flor by TKO. I think the early power shows up before Talavera can really settle in. But I'm more careful here. Flor has the bigger early danger profile. Talavera has the if this goes long argument. Next up, we got Steven Sainsbury versus Ethan Trout. I'm going to go Steven Sainsbury here. I trust the size, the reach, and the BKFC experience, and the way he handled adversity in his debut. This is one of those free fights where the physical profile jumps out immediately. BKFC lists Sainsbury around 6'4" with an 81-inch reach. That is a serious frame, and against Paulo Games, that reach was not just a number on the screen. He actually used it. Long jab, straight punches, intercepting entries, good distance control. Sainsbury knows how to fight long. If Trout can't get inside, the reach is going to be a problem early. But the thing that really upgraded him for me was that he wasn't just a tall outside fighter. Paulo Games was a real pressure test. Over 50 MMA fights, black belt in jiu-jitsu, trying to clinch, trying to make the fight dirty, and Sainsbury handled a lot of that well. He switched stances, he used his jab, he worked the body in the clinch, he used uppercuts, he framed. He didn't just fold when things got physical. Now, he did get dropped. That is the danger note. Games touched him, hurt him, and put him down. But Sainsbury got up, recovered, and came back aggressive and finished the fight in round 3. That tells me something. Anybody could look good when everything's going perfect. I want to know what happens when a guy gets hit. Sainsbury got hit, he got dropped, and still came back to win. That matters in the BKFC. Now, Trout does have some fight experience, so I'm not treating him like he's walking in completely blind. He has pro boxing experience. He's been in there with some modified rule fights too, but officially he's still 0-2 as a pro boxer, and his most recent boxing fight ended in a TKO in round 2. So the question is simple. Can Trout get past the reach and make Sainsbury uncomfortable? If Trout can get inside, test him early, there is a chance that he can make this interesting. But if Sainsbury gets uncomfortable, behind that. If Sainsbury gets comfortable behind that long jab, starts switching stances, I think Trout is going to have a hard time closing the gap. My official prediction, I'm going to go with Steven Sainsbury by TKO. I think the reach and the BKFC experience show up. But be careful with this pick. Trout does have fight experience, and if he can get inside early, make Sainsbury uncomfortable, this could get interesting. Next up, we've got Erik Soto versus Juan Figuerva. I'm going to go with Juan here, but I'm not acting like this is some lock. I trust Juan's proven BKFC power more. With Erik Soto, the public info is still pretty thin. Tapology has him fighting out of California, and the matchup listing him as around 5'11". But we don't have a deep record, reach, or a lot of clean fight history to work with. So I'm going to sit here and just pretend. So I'm not just going to sit here. Well, I was going to sit here and pretend, but like I have a full read on Soto. But with Juan, we do have something. What we have is simple. He is dangerous early. This is one of those fights where the low info guy could absolutely surprise us. Soto might come in fresh, composed, and make Juan look reckless. But from what we've seen, Juan has the clearer weapon. In his BKFC debut against Caleb Avila, Juan came out fast, got inside, landed heavy shots, dropped Avila multiple times, and got the first round TKO. That is the dangerous version of him. Heavy hands, fast start, pocket pressure, big right hands, and big left hooks. He's not just trying to ease into the fight. He's trying to make it ugly right away. But the Vienna fight is a warning. When Juan fought a much taller, longer heavyweight, he got stuck on the inside and he was swinging big shots from too far away. He couldn't close the distance clean, and Vienna's jab started doing the damage. Not just touching him, hurting him. Vienna dropped him twice and with that jab and finished him in round 1. So this is where we find out if Juan can get back to being the guy who crashes the pocket and hurts people early, or if Soto can keep him on the outside and make him look uncomfortable. If Soto can stay long, not back straight up, and make Juan reset, he can make this fight tricky. But if Soto lets Juan get inside early, this could get ugly fast. This is BKFC. You don't want to let a short, explosive heavyweight get comfortable throwing bombs in the pocket. So my official prediction for this is going to be Juan by TKO. I think the early power is the clearest weapon in the fight. But be careful because Soto, we don't have that much info on Soto, so be careful with that. But Juan has a clearer danger, early power. Next, we've got, to kick off the main card, we've got Iman Williams versus Cody Kerr. I'm going to go with Iman Williams here. I trust the better BKFC experience, the finishing form, the layers he's already shown. This is a pretty serious opener for the main card. This is two big cruiserweights, both boxing backgrounds. Both have already shown they can get people out of there. Williams is 2-0 in the BKFC. Both wins by stoppage. Cody Kerr is 1-0 in the BKFC. His debut came by first round TKO. So right away, this is not just some warm-up fight. Both guys have real finishing power. The reason I'm leaning Williams is because he has already answered more questions. Against Gabriel Mota tried to make it ugly, pressure, overhands, hooks, close the distance. But William did not panic. He stayed long, he worked behind the jab, and made Mota pay when he overcommitted. Then against Lewis Glover, Williams had to deal with a different kind of pressure. Level changes, clinch entries, body work, and a guy trying to make it physical. And Williams still adjusted and finished him around 2. So he's not just using size, he's making real adjustments in there. Now, Cody Kerr is not just some easy opponent. His debut showed he can stay calm when someone tries to crash the pocket, and the big weapon for Kerr is that straight right hand from range. If William walks in lazy or gets too comfortable, Kerr can absolutely make him pay. So that is the danger spot. But over time, I think Williams has more ways to win the fight. If he gets his jab going, touches the body, makes Kerr reset, I think he starts breaking Kerr down. So my official prediction is I think I'm gonna go with Iman Williams. I think he's a more complete BKFC fighter right now. Kerr is live early, but Williams feels like the more complete BKFC fighter. Next up, we've got Evgenii Kurdanov versus Erik Lopez. I'm going to go Evgenii here. I trust the craft, the BKFC experience, and the fact that he has already proven his technical game against better competition. This is not the fight where I expect pure chaos. This feels more like a technical puzzle, and that favors Evgenii. Evgenii is better than the record looks. He came into BKFC with bare knuckle experience already. He went 5 rounds with Gorian Salblaski, who was a dangerous undefeated finisher at the time, and he beat former BKFC champion Alvin Brito over 5 rounds. And that's the kind of win that makes me take him seriously in this matchup. Evgenii is not just tricky, he is proven. He can switch stances, he can jab, he can counter, he can make this slow, annoying fight where Lopez never really gets the rhythm he wants. But Lopez is not helpless. He wants movement, he wants angles, he wants accuracy, he wants to touch the body and land clean upstairs. But in his BKFC debut, pressure gave him problems. He backed up, he struggled to get offense going, and he got dropped multiple times, and he was stopped. Now, Evgenii is not just a bulldozer pressure fighter. He is more technical than that, but that might make it worse because instead of just rushing Lopez, he can make him think, make him hesitate, and keep taking away his rhythm. So I'm going to go Evgenii by TKO. I think he makes Lopez uncomfortable early. He takes away his rhythm and starts breaking him down. This is one of the picks I feel the best about on the card. Lopez can have moments, but I trust Evgenii to control the more of the fight. Next up, we've got Ryan Peterson versus Darren Whitney. I'm going to skip this fight. I was on Reddit the other day, and Gator305 said that this fight's not happening. I think Whitney got moved to another card. So we are going to skip this one. I skipped this one because it would take too much time. Next, we got Keith Richardson versus Devon Schwan. I'm going to go with Devon Schwan here. I trust the fresher power and the fact that he hasn't taken the same kind of damage lately. This is experience versus recent damage. Keith Richardson has real tools. His debut against Frank Lester showed that he can have tie clinch. He has dirty boxing, body work, 1-2s, 1-2-2s, and slick double right hand that dropped Lester. So Richardson is not just some guy who looks lost in the BKFC. He understands the inside game, he understands dirty boxing, and he can make fights physical. But the problem is what has happened since. Against Brandon Connolly, he had moments where he took a lot of damage before the doctor stopped it. Then against Steve Townsend, the same kind of concern. He got dropped twice, kept fighting, showed heart, but took a lot of clean shots and got stopped in round 3. So no one can question Richardson's toughness. The problem is that it might be too tough for he might be too tough for his own good. In BKFC, that could catch up with you fast. Devon Schwan's debut was short but useful. Jesse Pringle had a big reach advantage, but Pringle came forward, gave up that range, and Schwan made him pay. Schwan made him pay immediately. Left hook, counter right, 2 knockdowns, fight was over in 1 minute and 4 seconds. That tells me Schwan has real power when a guy steps into his range. If Richardson can control the clinch, slow the fight down, and make this a dirty boxing match, he can absolutely make this interesting. But if Richardson walks into another damage-heavy fight, Schwan is the kind of power to punish him early. So my official prediction is Devon Schwan by TKO. I think the fresher power shows up. Richardson is live if he controls the pace, but the recent damage history is a real concern for me. So next up, we've got Daniel Alvarez versus Jared Lennon. I'm going to go with Daniel Alvarez here, but Lennon is definitely live. I trust the deeper BKFC experience, the toughness, and the ability to build damage over 5 rounds. This is one of the trickiest fights on the card because both guys are dangerous. Both guys have flaws that can get them in trouble. Daniel Alvarez is not just a gritty pressure fighter. Against J.R. Ridge, he showed real craft, jab, range, straight punches, angles, and damage over time. And he forced the doctor stoppage. Then there's the Reggie Barnett Jr. fight. And that loss needs context. Alvarez was in there with one of the best bantamweights BKFC has had. And the fight didn't end because Alvarez got knocked out or just folded under pressure. It ended after round 3 when Alvarez had an issue with his hand or finger. Barnett actually noticed it, pointed it out, and the doctor stopped the fight before round 4 started. So yes, it still goes down as a loss, but that is not the kind of loss where I look at Alvarez and say he got exposed. To me, that fight shows Alvarez has already been in deep waters against elite BKFC competition, but the Victor Rosas fight shows the danger. Alvarez came in with his head high, he got countered badly, and Rosas dropped him twice in round one. That is a big red flag. Alvarez can be timed when he enters sloppy. Jared Lennon though is a tricky guy to read because of the idea of his style and the reality of his fights don't always match. In his debut, he talked about wanting to stay long, be elusive, and avoid brawling. But once the fight started and turned into a pocket war almost immediately, and to his credit, Lennon showed he could handle that kind of fight. He dropped Jacob Kerchal twice and finished him with the body work. But then against Isaiah Carson, we saw the other side. Lennon opened up, got countered clean, and the fight was over in 15 seconds. Then, against Chachi Versace, we saw both sides again. Early, Lennon looked sharp, southpaw, left hand, range control, clean outside boxing. But in round 4, Versace dropped him twice, and the fight ended in a split draw. So this fight comes down to mistakes. Alvarez can get countered coming in. Lennon can get countered when he opens up. Both guys can hurt each other. Both guys can get hurt. But over 5 rounds, I trust Alvarez to make more of the steady adjustments. My official prediction is going to be Daniel Alvarez by decision. But I think the deeper BKFC experience wins out over time. Lennon is live early. If Alvarez enters sloppy, Lennon can catch him. But I trust Alvarez's experience and pressure over time more. Next we've got David Diaz versus Anthony Sanchez. I'm going to go with David Diaz here. I trust the pressure, the pace, the way he's been breaking guys down lately. This is where the tape really helped. At first, you might look at Diaz and you think he's just wild, emotional, and easy to outbox. But once you watch the fights, you start to see why he's such a problem. He keeps coming, he keeps talking, he keeps pressuring, and even when he's getting hit, he's still making you work. Against Albert Incline, Diaz threw 381 punches and landed 264 over 5 rounds. That is insane output. And it's not just wild swinging, he landed more than he missed. Against Shane Jordan, Diaz threw 242 punches over 5 rounds and still found the knockdown that helped him turn the fight into a draw. Then, against Justin Martinez, Diaz threw 225 punches in less than 3 full rounds and landed 159. That's just ridiculous. That is not just pressure, that is pressure with production. The uppercut started landing, the body work started adding up, and by round 3, Diaz was breaking Martinez down. That is the version of Diaz I like in this matchup. Now, Anthony Sanchez does have a path. Against Jean Perez, Sanchez showed he can go 5 rounds and be effective. He threw 211 punches and landed 130. So Sanchez can be active. He can be accurate. He can win rounds when he gets in his rhythm. But the problem is efficiency under pressure. Against Justin Street, Sanchez actually threw more punches. He threw 233. Street threw 171. But Street still landed more. Against Lardy Navarro, Sanchez was active again, but Navarro landed way cleaner. So Sanchez is not just the kind of guy who just fades immediately. He can fight hard, he can stay in there, and he can make rounds competitive. But when the opponent keeps touching him, keeps pressuring, keeps making him work, Sanchez can start losing the efficiency battle. That is dangerous against Diaz because Diaz is not going to give him quiet rounds. He's going to keep coming, keep clenching, keep talking, and keep forcing exchanges. So this is BKFC. Composure under chaos matters, and Diaz is chaos with a gas tank. So my official prediction is going to be David Diaz by TKO. I think the pressure and pace start breaking Sanchez down. Sanchez is live early if he keeps it clean, but over time I think Diaz makes this fight more and more uncomfortable. Next up, we've got Chase Gormley versus Levi Costa. I'm going to go with Chase Gormley here, but BKFC heavyweight bare knuckle always makes me nervous. I trust the size, the range, and the long weapons more. The fight has chaos written all over it. Gormley's best tape is the Tyler Shoyan fight. He had a huge size and reach advantage. He used a bladed stance. He worked behind the jab. He stayed long. And every time Shoyan tried to crash the pocket, Gormley made him pay. 4 knockdowns, round 2 finish. This is a scary version of Gormley. When he is patient, using the jab, touching the body, and bringing uppercuts when guys rush in, he is a problem. But the Parker Porter fight is the warning. Gormley was a taller guy. He was 6'3". Porter was 6 foot. Gormley had an even bigger fist measurement, and Porter still got him out of there in 44 seconds. That stats tells the story. Porter threw 18 punches. Gormley only threw 9. Porter doubled his output, forced the pace, and did not let Gormley settle into that long-range jab game. That is exactly what keeps Costa alive. Levi Costa can absolutely hurt people early. His BKFC debut against Joshua Sanchez showed that. Costa threw 27 punches and landed 19. That is not just wild swinging. That's efficient damage. He dropped Sanchez 3 times, got him out of there in a minute and 35 seconds of round 1. So Costa is not just a grappler trying to bare knuckle. He can punch, he can hurt heavyweights, and if he gets chest to chest, he can make this an ugly fast. The problem for Costa is what happens when you cannot control the inside. Against Perdomo, Costa was the taller man. He wanted the clinch. He got inside, and Perdomo still made him pay in 47 seconds. Perdomo threw 222 punches and landed 19. That means Costa was getting hit clean almost every time Perdomo opened up. And against Josh Copeland, Costa and Copeland threw almost the same amount of punches, but Copeland landed 49 and Costa landed 29. So once Copeland settles in, Costa can become easier to hit and less effective. So this fight is very clear to me. If Costa rushes Gormley early, gets inside, and makes it ugly, Gormley can be in danger. But if he finds his rhythm, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Costa can cross long range over and over, I think Gormley starts punishing him with the jab, bodywork, and uppercuts. So my official prediction, I'm going to go Chase Gormley by TKO. I think the size, the long-range weapons show up if he survives the early rush. But be careful with this one. Costa is live early. I like Gormley's long-range path if he survives the first punch. Next, we've got Cody Vidal versus Jomi Escoboza. Now, I'm going to go with Jomi Escoboza here. But Cody Vidal is one of the most live underdogs on this card. I do trust Jomi's experience, range, clinch defense, and resume a little more. But Vidal is dangerous. Very dangerous. I thought I had this one figured out early, but then I looked closer at Vidal. Jomi has a resume. Jomi has the experience. Jomi has the size and range. But then you look at what Cody Vidal has been doing lately. Now I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, Vidal might really have a shot here. Against Maurice Horn, Vidal was a shorter fighter, but he made the pressure count. Horn threw more punches, 146 to Vidal's 130, but Vidal landed more. Vidal landed 89. Horn landed 85. So this was not just Vidal walking forward and being tough. He was getting inside, landing cleaner, landing harder, and by round 4, he broke Horn down. Then against David Simpson, Vidal showed a different kind of danger. Simpson outthrew him badly. Simpson threw 197 punches. Vidal only threw 64. Simpson landed 100 punches. Vidal only landed 47. So on volume, Simpson was way ahead, but Vidal still knocked him out in round 5. That tells you everything. Vidal does not just need to be winning every minute to end your night. That is dangerous against Jomi, because Jomi might be winning rounds from the outside, but he cannot get lazy late. The reason why I still lean Jomi is because he's already answered a lot of the questions Vidal was going to ask. Against Isaac Doolittle, Jomi handled a shorter pressure fighter trying to crash inside. Doolittle wanted to make it ugly. Jomi used the jab, controlled the range, tied him up when he got close, made him work without getting the payoff. Then Jomi finished him in round 3. Against Esteban Rodriguez, Jomi showed he can handle chaos. Rodriguez brought pressure, high volume, and dirty boxing. Jomi still found the knockdown that helped him win the fight. But the Jared Warren fight is the caution tape. Jomi was a taller fighter, but Warren stayed busier, landed cleaner, and won the decision. Warren landed 137 shots. Jomi landed 108. That matters because it shows Jomi can be outworked if the opponent keeps a steady pressure and does not give him the big finishing moment. That is why That is what makes Vidal interesting. Vidal has pressure, he has the toughness, he has the late round power, and he has already shown he can flip the fight even when the numbers aren't going his way. So my official prediction, I'm going to go with Jomi Escoboza by decision or late round TKO. I think the experience and the range control show up, but I'm worried about the upset. If Vidal gets inside consistently, keeps the pressure high, and makes Jomi fight off the back foot, this can get uncomfortable fast. Alright, next we've got Jamel Herring versus Michael Larrimore. Before we get into the main event, we've got to reset the top of the card. Now, originally this was supposed to be Jamel Herring versus Nate Maness for the title, but Nate Maness is out. The main event has changed. I don't want to speculate too much on the medical side. The important part for this card is this. Maness is out. Michael, Papa G, Larrimore appears to be in. And now we have to look at the fight completely different. With Maness, we were talking about body work, uppercuts, and a former UFC fighter who's already 2-0 in the BKFC. With Larrimore, we're talking about a different kind of threat. BKFC experience, real power, and a guy who's been in chaotic fights, and now he gets the massive opportunity on short notice. So now we reset. It's no longer Herring versus Maness. Now we're looking at Jamel Herring versus Michael Larrimore. I'm going to go with Jamel Herring here, but this is not the same read as the Maness fight. I trust Herring's boxing discipline, his range control, and he has a cleaner shot selection. But Larrimore is dangerous. He's not just some random late replacement. Yeah, no, but the fight changed completely. With Maness, the big worry was the body work, uppercuts, and a guy who was already building real BKFC momentum. With Larrimore, the worry is different. It's power and chaos. It's a guy stepping into the title opportunity with nothing to lose, and the Ace Samples fight shows why Larrimore is dangerous. Larrimore came into the fight talking about being smart, defense, lateral movement, slipping and rolling, being first and third, not just standing there and brawling. But once the fight started, it got crazy fast. Larrimore dropped Samples early, then he dropped him again with an uppercut, and Samples dropped Larrimore back. And then Larrimore came back and finished the fight in round 1. That was a wild fight. 5 total knockdowns in round 1. So with Larrimore, there is a real danger here. He has legitimate power. He can hurt you early, and even if he gets hit, he has shown he can get back up and still finish the fight. But the Keith Richardson fight is the warning. Larrimore came in that fight talking about footwork, speed, straight punches, staying out of long exchanges, and that was the plan. But Richardson did not let him settle. Richardson crashed in immediately, landed with power, landed in combination, and the fight was over in 21 seconds. That is a concern. If Larrimore gets rushed, if he gets caught before he finds range, or if he gets pulled into the wrong exchange, things can fall apart fast. So now the fight is pretty clear. I mean, Larrimore's path is to make this ugly early. He needs to come in dangerous, throw with power, and make Herring feel that this is not just going to be a clean boxing match. Because if Larrimore gets Herring into a firefight, this can get dangerous fast as well. But if Herring can keep this clean, calm, it favors Herring. Just use the jab, the footwork, the discipline, clean counters. Do not overreact. Do not get dragged into the chaos. That is the whole fight for Herring. Because Herring is not going to want a 5-round knockdown round. He's going to want a clean, controlled fight where Larrimore is reaching, missing, and getting touched on his way in. And that is why I'm leaning Herring. So my official prediction is Herring by decision. I think the boxing discipline and the cleaner shot selection show up. But be careful with this one. Larrimore has legitimate power in his hands. He has real BKFC experience. And if he turns this into a firefight, he can absolutely make this dangerous. So my final picks are going to be Victor Flor, Stephen Sainsbury, Juan, Iman Williams, Evgenii, Darren Whitney, Devon Schwan, Daniel Alvarez, David Diaz, Chase Gormley, Jomi Escoboza, and Jamel Herring. Most of my finish leans are because this is BKFC. Damage, cuts, and momentum can snowball fast. The decision picks I'm looking at are Daniel Alvarez versus Jamel Herring, And Jomi is the tricky one. I could see him winning a decision, but a late round stoppage would not shock me either. Fights I'd be careful with. I mean, it's the Talavera versus Flor because Flor is dangerous early, but Talavera already has gone rounds. Soto versus Juan because Soto is low info and Juan can struggle if he gets stuck at range. And Alvarez versus Lennon because both guys can make early mistakes and get punished. Gormley versus Costa because heavyweight bare knuckle is never safe. Vidal versus Escoboza because Vidal can be losing rounds and still knock you out. And Herring versus Larrimore because late replacements are tricky. Larrimore has enough power to make this dangerous. So that's it. BKFC 89, Palm Desert. You've got a world champion boxer trying to prove he can become BKFC champion. You've got a late replacement coming into a huge title opportunity. You've got a co-main event where Cody Vidal is coming in hot, but Jomi Escoboza has a resume. You've got heavyweight chaos. You've got free fights that can set the tone early, and you've got an underdog. You've got undercard fights where the official record doesn't tell the full story. That is why you have to dig deeper with BKFC because one cut, one body shot, one bad entry, one clean counter, and the whole script gets flipped upside down. Drop your picks in the comments. Tell me which picks you agree with, which picks you think I got wrong.